I am Professor Patricia Cortes, and I'm Associate Professor at the Market Public Policy and Law Department. And my area of expertise is I'm a labor economist, and I specialize in gender inequality in the labor market. Some states, I think at this point is about 25, 26 states, have decided to stop the enhanced unemployment benefits that's supposed to expire in September. So they're stopping it early. Most of these states, but Louisiana, have Republican governors. And the main reason why they're stopping it is because they think, I guess, that what's driving the labor shortage that the U.S. experience right now, when I mention labor shortages, that there are many businesses that are looking for workers and they are having trouble finding these workers. When you look at the aggregate numbers, you see that there are many more jobs posted than actual hirings. So this politicians in the states believe that one of the main reasons why workers are not taking these jobs or not looking for jobs is because they get these enhanced benefits. And these enhanced benefits at this point are $300 a week. And it is true that that can represent quite an important amount of money for some workers. For, the workers with lower wage, it's possibly even higher than what they would get if they're out working. So there is the belief that this extra incentive from the unemployment benefit is making people less willing to go out and look for a job. If I am without looking for a job or without working, getting more than I can with a job, then why would I be working, right? So they believe that if they stop this incentive, we will see more workers going out for jobs. I think that for a fraction of the workers that are, the workers that are currently not employed, for some of them, it might be a disincentive. And it might be true that for some of them, stopping this incentive will lead them to go and find a job. However, I believe this number is not very large. So I'll talk about at least two pieces of evidence of why I think this number is not too large. The first is that there's been a study by some professor at Booth at the Chicago Business School that looked at how did people reacted in different states, not to these enhanced benefits, but from the enhanced benefit from last year that were much larger, that were $600 a week. And yes, we're in the middle of the pandemic, but what they found actually is that it seems that the $600 per week did not affect that much people's willingness to look or not for a job. So to give you an example, they find that about half the people that left unemployment left even before the $600 expired, right? Many of them were recalled. They also find that even though when the $600 expired, and I think that was in August of last year, and therefore the weekly income you get from unemployment benefits became much, much smaller than what it was before, they didn't see increase in people looking for jobs, right? So it seems like at least last year, and of course last year was more extreme than this year, but I'm gonna talk in a second about what's going up this year. There are other factors much more important than these unemployment benefits that are preventing people from going out and rejoin the labor force in full, okay? The other evidence related to this, of the other factors that are preventing people to going out and looking for a job again, is there's been some surveys actually reaching out to people and asking them, why are you not looking for a job? And what these surveys have found is that, yes, there is, I will say, between 5 and 10% of people that are not actively looking for a job that mention that, the unemployment benefits are too generous. I don't see any incentive for me to go out to look for a job. But actually, it's not even by far the most important reason that people give, right? So the two most important reasons that people give is, one is they're still concerned for the virus, about the COVID, right? And I think in this stage that the Delta variant is increasing, I think we're gonna see this response becoming like more important than I don't think a month ago, when the virus has really been at their lowest level since the start of the pandemic. So I think people are still very concerned about rejoining the labor force, especially those workers that are face-to-face with customers, and probably especially in those states in which there's still a majority of, or not a majority, but still a large share of adults that are not vaccinated. So there's still concerns about the virus that are preventing people to join the labor force again. The other reason that people give, and this is a higher percentage of people that give this reason, that they give that generous unemployment benefits, is actually child care responsibilities, right? So I think when September comes and the schools, we hope, will be back face-to-face full time, this might recover, but still many families, and during the summer, are struggling with childcare. So it seems like there are other important reasons. So as I mentioned before, if the main reasons why people are not looking again for a job or joining the labor force is because of these other constraints that they have, right? Either COVID concerns or childcare constraints, then they might still not be employed. And really, this $300 have been a lifeline for many of these families that are usually like low-income families that have depended during the pandemic on those extra income to make ends meet, right? So on one hand, you have, for some families, it's going to affect their daily lives. On the other hand, the other benefit, of course, related to the families that we have from giving families with unemployed workers income, is that they can continue spending and push the economy, right? So incentivize the economy and spending. And if you're taking those away, then you're also going to see that there's not this increase in demand that's driving like the improvement of the economy. And finally, there's some reasons why people believe, and I do too, that longer unemployment, especially with benefits, is good in some ways because it allows people to look for a better match, right? So if people can now look for better jobs, a better match, right? If you take away their benefits, they might be forced to just go on and take whatever job that they found at first, and it might not be the best job that they can find, and this might have long-term consequences for the economy. It's good for the economy to see a good match between the worker and the firm. I think it's going to be very difficult, actually, because these states that decide to stop the enhanced benefits are very particular states, right? So as I said before, all but one of them are going to be Republican states. And say, for example, that, I don't know, next month or 2 months, we see that because precisely these states, the Republican states, is where we see the lower rates of vaccination, right? We see, that COVID is spreading again. People are more concerned about COVID, and people are going to be more concerned about COVID precisely in these Republican states, right? So if we, for example, see that, less people are looking for jobs in the state, we cannot say it's because of the unemployment benefits, because there's something else going on, right? So my point is that these states are very different from the states that decided not to stop the benefits in many other ways, right? So these states have different COVID levels. These states may have different childcare situations. These states can have very different industries, and we know that especially in this type of recession that have affected very differently many industries, you will see it's going to be very difficult to compare.